Hello and welcome back to The Give and Go. I'm your co-host Reynoso here with my boy
Soltero. What's up, guys?
The Copa Libertadores finals have been set. Fluminense will be facing off against Boca Juniors, who we just finished watching play against Palmeiras away from home, and somehow, some way, found themselves getting the victory after a crazy 1-1 tie in regulation and then a victory in penalties thanks to Sergio Romero.
Yeah, dude, he had some crazy saves. Not just in the penalty shootout, but throughout the game. What's a little annoying is that it was actually, in my opinion, his mistake that ultimately let Palmeiras back into the game, but completely redeemed himself afterwards. You know, blocking that bicycle kick, getting another really good block, and then getting some really, really nice saves in that penalty shootout, man. So yeah, completely deserved. Sergio Romero leading Boca Juniors into another Copa Libertadores final. Let's see if they can come out victorious, though.
Let's see what can happen here, because here's what's at stake for The Give and Go, more specifically for your boy Reynoso. About 2 months ago, we had a shoot where I stated, and I'll put the thumbnail right here so people can see it. I said that a Brazilian club would not lift the Copa Libertadores title this year, despite them having a crazy, 3-4 year run of just dominating the tournament with teams like Palmeiras and Flamengo lifting the title. I said, despite all that, I see a non-Brazilian team winning this tournament this year. And by the grace of God, Boca Juniors, despite how badly low-key they've been playing in the league and they've been playing in the build-up to this game, they got the results. And I stay alive. My prediction stays alive. And now we have an Argentina versus Brazil final in the Copa Libertadores. Boca Juniors is back on the biggest stage in South American football. If they lift it, bro, I am saved. And at the same time, Boca Juniors will be lifting their 7th Copa Libertadores in their history.
100%, man. But let's go back to that game, because I do want to talk about Palmeiras, the team that ultimately is keeping your prediction alive. Because, man, I thought they had a pretty poor game overall. Other than the first 20 minutes where they had a lot of possession, they really didn't do much after them, and Boca actually did a really good job at settling the game down to themselves and then putting on a really good defensive display. That's what really impressed me about Boca in this whole match against Palmeiras in Brazil was their defensive unity was fantastic. Like, they pressed together and they held back together. When they went deep in that second half, they were pretty organized and very disciplined. Like, Boca Juniors defense looked really, really solid in this whole match. But for Palmeiras, man, like, there wasn't like a lot of penetration. There wasn't a lot of creativity, whether off the dribble, off the pass. Like, there really wasn't much. Ronnie was like the only guy who was active in the box. He needed service. Endrick came on in the second half, and honestly, I'm surprised that he hasn't played more for Palmeiras.
He should have started low-key, man.
Yeah.
Low-key. A burst of energy, a burst of creativity, and he was dangerous on the ball when he had that opportunity. I can see the hype. I can see it for sure.
Same.
This being probably the biggest stage I've seen him perform in so far, he did really good. And I'm surprised that, like you, I'm surprised he didn't get more minutes in this whole tournament.
Yeah, seriously. I hadn't really seen much Copa Libertadores, but I saw in the build-up that like people were disappointed that he wasn't playing. Like, were they maybe saving him because Madrid are going to get him like soon? Like, what is it really all about? Or maybe Ferreira really just didn't see him as a starting type of player. But no, dude, he came on the second half and he had an immediate impact. Just super smooth, incredibly fast. And not only that, he was able to pair it with like some really nice through balls, really good dribbling, drawing fouls. So I thought Endrick had a really good performance, but I can't really say that about any other Palmeiras player, bro.
No, that's my issue with Palmeiras, and that's why I kind of made such a bold prediction at the beginning of the knockout stages, is because Palmeiras, they got completely outplayed also back in the Bombonera last week. Boca Juniors was by far the better team. Kind of disappointed they weren't able to get a lead in that game, ended the game 0-0. I thought they deserved a 1-0 lead going back to Brazil. So in a way, it does make sense to me that they end up getting through to the final, getting past this Palmeiras team, because I just don't think they're up to that Copa Libertadores championship level that they are so used to being at. Same with teams like Flamengo. I saw a dip in quality from them. It's why in the league you have a team like Botafogo dominating it right now and going for their first title in over 25 years. Brazil in general, I think, is on a weird, conundrum right now. I don't know if they drop it in quality as a whole or what's going on, but I don't think they're playing the highest level of football that they're accustomed to. And it's why I think that going into this final against Fluminense, I think it's wide open for both sides. Yeah. I think Boca could find themselves lifting the trophy at the end of this game, but at the same time, Fluminense, who went through a crazy comeback second leg victory against Internacional away from home, could also do the same thing, dude. So either two of these teams seem slated for what could be a monumental Copa Libertadores victory if things are just able to go their way, man, because I'm so surprised to see a team like Fluminense actually here. When we've seen names like Sao Paulo in the 2000s, Flamengo, Gremio, Palmeiras, to me this is the first time, at least in my lifetime, where I've seen Fluminense here in a final of the Copa Libertadores.
That's actually a really good point because you consider Fluminense to those teams that you just named, they're definitely more low-key, even going back a decade ago when Corinthians won, right?
Yes.
So for Fluminense to actually make it to a Copa Libertadores final, honestly, I'm actually really excited to see it. I really do like the football that they play, honestly. It's a little inconsistent, but it's because of that, I do agree with you. This final is going to be wide open. I truly see this 50-50. I think Boca Juniors' defense really showed today. And again, their discipline, their ability to go on the road and after 20 minutes, take over in a way. You know, maybe not with possession or with true threat on the ball, but they didn't let Palmeiras do anything. And I thought, again, I was so impressed by that because I honestly wasn't expecting that, especially the way that Palmeiras came started. I thought Palmeiras were just going to not run away with it, but, you know, get a comfortable 1-2-0 win. And then when the red card happened with Marcos Rojo, the second yellow, I truly thought Palmeiras were going to get 2 goals because there was 25 minutes left. Like, come on. But no, Boca stayed strong. And honestly, they could have won it 1-0. Yeah. If it wasn't for that little mistake by Romero, and it was a tricky shot, but Boca completely deserved this in my opinion. Yeah. So I'm actually, personally, I'm glad Palmeiras aren't going to yet another final just because I like to change it up. Yeah. So I'm really happy to see a team like Boca go through, but can we talk about that other game, Internacional against Fluminense, man?
We have to. My takeaway here is really interesting because Internacional looked in control going into that match. It was 2-2 from the first leg. Yeah. Second leg comes, Internacional is at home, and you get a Mercado corner kick goal scored to give the 1-0 lead to Internacional. And for the rest of that first half, it seemed pretty well in their control.
Yeah.
But then the second half, a really smart move from the coach to bring on John Kennedy, who honestly, I don't even know what he's doing on the bench, bro, because from the moment he came into this match, he was a spark offensively, one of the few players providing a threat for Fluminense, who at one point just looked stale. Mm-hmm. He comes on, gets a goal, and I believe gets an assist as well. John Kennedy showing out, giving them the lead to go 2-1 up on Internacional.
Yeah, I was so surprised when I did not see John Kennedy in the lineup because he had that crazy caressed assist in the first leg to actually equalize it, and I was just shocked. I was like, dude, he was their biggest impetus of creativity on the ball. So when Diniz, the Fluminense coach, chose not to start him, I was like, is he going just slightly more defensive here? I'm always opposed to that. You always have to start your most offensive players. Diniz is one of the better coaches in Brazil, so I was like, okay, I'm going to step back here and see what happens. When Internacional went up 1-0, and as you already said, when Fluminense had a really lackluster rest of that first half, I was like, all right, it's Kennedy time. Yeah. You have to put him on. And rightfully so, he did. And Kennedy went on to have a perfect second half. A nice little toe poke finish to get that first goal, and then a beautiful little assist to Herman Cano, who, by the way, is just scoring goals for free right now for Fluminense. It's so, dude, there's so many. This game has so many recognizable names, man. Like Marcelo, Herman Cano. Yeah. Sergio Rochet has found himself in the Copa Libertadores semifinal with Internacional. Hugo Mayo, bro. Hugo Mayo is in Brazil. This one shocked me. I had no idea. I was like, what the fuck is this guy doing here? Ex-Celta player. And then I looked to the touchline, and the coach is Eduardo Caudet, ex-Celta coach. And I was like, okay, interesting. And then Gabriel Mercado, another one there. Johnny Cardoso, U.S. International.
U.S. CONCACAF player there.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And then Ener Valencia as well. Come on.
Man. Crazy.
Luis Adriano on the bench, ex-Shakhtar. Rodrigo de Pena, also ex-Ukrainian player. What the hell? There's a lot of really recognizable. And then Marcelo, bro. And then Marcelo from Fluminense. And then going back to Cano, the reason I brought this up is Cano had a whole 3-year stint in Liga MX. Really didn't make anything of it. I remember when he was there, he was playing for Pachuca, and yeah, he wasn't that good. Really wasn't that good. Ends up leaving Mexico after what was a failure there. And he ends up just starts scoring a lot of goals in Colombia, gets a move to Brazil, and he was the top goal scorer last year in the Brazilian league.
That's insane.
Germán Cano.
That's
so
insane.
like he's really gotten a lot better since he left Mexico, and like the older he gets,
Mexico's just that tough, bro.
But you could make that argument though. Like it's kind of weird that
There's a number of players that once you look at their track record, went to Mexico, failed,
and
went
go back to South America and it
find
works
success.
out. Yes.
I'm not gonna translate that as Mexico being a better league, but I am gonna show a really interesting eye towards it, because what a fascinating prospect of like going beyond where you're born or beyond where you're comfortable and not thriving, man, but then going back home and then absolutely killing it.
Yeah, it's nuts. So really happy for him, because it just seems like the older he's getting, the truly better striker he's becoming. And it's kind of cool because when you look at a player like Cano leading Fluminense all the way to a title, if he can do it, it'd be crazy, because he had two really big goals in these semifinals, in the first leg and in the second leg. Two really big goals. And it's something that Ener Valencia could not do. Because Ener Valencia had some really big chances in this match, fluffed both of them.
I would even say three at this point.
Yeah,
man.
why not?
Because I think I'm glad Fluminense is going through, because it's not like Internacional didn't have the chances, dude.
No, they had way more
chances. They had way more chances, and they fell at the feet of Ecuadorian legend Ener Valencia. And 3 times I saw him just be at the end of these plays and saying, oh, here it comes. Here comes that moment. That badass, legendary, I'm that guy, Ener Valencia moment we've been seeing for so long in his career. And it was back to back to back misses every single time. Not even close, especially that header, dude. The header he had
was crazy.
From like the penalty spot, wide open. Completely off. I said, if you're not going to make that in this moment, then whatever comes to you is on you. And it ended up being that, because Fluminense then found their way back into the game and took advantage and got the lead. Ener Valencia is still asleep right now. He has not woken up. He does not want to face the world right now in this moment, because it is a little bit of his own fault that Internacional is not seeing themselves in this Copa Libertadores final, because he had so many chances that he just couldn't produce in.
Yeah, it was super disappointing, and that header shocked me, man. I could not believe it. Dude, it could not have been more wide open, and dude, he was like, 4 or 5 yards away from the goal. Like, just put your head on the ball, put it in the back of the net, take the win, and you go into the Maracanã and you're in the final.
Yes.
Like, it really should have been Internacional's. They have a really good balance between offense and defense, but their lack of finishing is ultimately what did them in, and then conversely, on the other side, Fluminense were very clinical. Very, very clinical. Again, that second goal is actually really beautiful build-up. A nice little outside crossball to the wing. Yoni Gonzalez, first-time volley entry pass to John Kennedy. And he kind of dummies it. I don't even know if he actually touches it. But he tries and makes the attempt to flick it. And it goes perfectly in the path to Germán Cano. And Cano just drills it, bro. He fucking drills it. And Fluminense, I honestly couldn't believe they turned it, because I truly thought Internacional were going to take it. Even though Fluminense did have a better second half, Internacional still crafted chances. They just couldn't finish them.
Yeah, and so now what it sets up is a final between Fluminense and Boca Juniors. What really stands out to me, obviously in South America, are the storylines, the narratives going into these matches. Playing at the Maracanã. Probably, if not the biggest stadium in South America, a historic stadium that has seen so many big monumental games. That's where the final is going to be played at. I'm down for that. I'm excited.
Yeah.
The thing is, I believe Fluminense has been playing all of the Copa Libertadores games, or at least like the last 5, in El Maracanã already.
They're from Rio de Janeiro. That's their home stadium, technically. Fluminense is from Rio. So it's actually crazy that they've made it all the way to this final, because they have pure home advantage in a way.
Pure home advantage. Boca's going to need low-key a miracle here, because they're going to have to play up to the best level that they can play at in order to defeat this team that is essentially at home. A final that is going to contain some memorable names such as Edinson Cavani, who has found himself here at, with the possibility of lifting up the biggest trophy in South America, despite how crazy his tenure already has been with Boca and the way his career has gone with what I would call failed stint at Valencia and another one at Manchester United. Comes to South America, there might be something there for him. Valentin Barco, 19 years old, will go down as a Boca legend, I believe, if he ends up guiding this team offensively towards another Copa Libertadores championship. The Fernandez bros in the midfield.
Yeah.
You got
Luis Advinculas.
Luis
That's
Advinculas
such
there.
a cool narrative
Yes.
that this Peruvian fullback went to Europe, had a really good career there, was really successful with the Peruvian international team, and now he's coming back, and now he comes back to South America and has a chance to win a big title. It's so cool.
Same with Sergio Romero, storied Argentina goalkeeper. Marcos Rojo. You got these
Frank
Fabra. Yes, you got names now that are going for something special from Boca's side, but then you look the other way. How could you? I mean, it's gonna be the biggest story going in. Marcelo pursuing that trophy, that Copa Libertadores trophy. I truly don't know how he ended up here, bro. I really don't, because ultimately, like, I saw him sign for Fluminense after a really weird stint at Olympiacos. Ends up going to Fluminense. And here we are at a final, dude. And Marcelo could see himself lift up another massive major trophy in his career. The dude is a born winner. Despite not really playing his best these past few games, it's still Marcelo. And he's capable of something really special, or at least bringing that energy to a team that is infectious towards winning championships. And the guys you already mentioned, Germán Cano, John Kennedy. You also have their goalkeeper, Fabio, who's 43 years old, bro.
Oh, I actually did not know that.
43. I think that's Buffon's age right now,
bro,
man.
That's actually crazy.
It's ridiculous. This team actually, I was looking at their ages. It's a really old-ass team, dude.
Shit.
I mean, throwing Marcelo as well, who's already like 34. And then these guys. There's a lot of old folks on this team, but it's pure experience, and they're going for something truly special.
Yeah, for Marcelo, I don't know if this is true, but I think he started his youth career at Fluminense.
Is that what's going on?
I'm almost positive. So
Okay.
it's kind of like Luis Suarez going back to Nacional for a little bit. I think Marcelo's like, you know what? Let's go back home.
Cool.
It's crazy that it works out this way,
doesn't,
bro. That's what I'm saying. Like
doesn't.
the fact that he's in a final with honestly a really good chance and also winning it, that's crazy, man. It must be really nice to be Marcelo, bro.
Yeah,
Holy shit.
I'm excited for this final. It's happening in November, early November. I think it might be like the 5th or 4th.
Yes, sir.
And I mean, for me, my pick is obvious.
Who you got?
I'm gonna have to go with Boca Juniors on this one. I have to. They're my last remaining hope. My concern with them is that I don't see the consistency that I would hope out of a Copa Libertadores champion. But fortunately, I don't think that's what is going to be needed to lift this trophy, man. It's really going to end up coming down to a one-off game, 90 minutes. Who wants it more? Who puts in the best performance? Everything around it, I don't think will truly matter, which is why there's an Argentine bug going around since the World Cup happened that we've seen infect every single Argentine player and Argentine club. And I think that same bug is going to make an appearance at the Maracanã to guide Boca Juniors to a final. So I'm going Boca, bro. I'm going Boca.
Yeah, dude, the penalty shootout today against Palmeiras gave me weird flashbacks of Argentina-France 2022 because this penalty shootout was easy for Boca.
Yeah.
This was easy. Palmeiras couldn't make a fucking shot, and Boca just slotted each one home, essentially. So, yeah, definitely there's that Argentine bug, and it's been going around for a while, man. So I actually do agree with that. And that point of how you're saying Boca have willed themselves to get to this final is why I think they have a decent chance. Yeah. Because they've proven that it doesn't really matter who they face. They figure it out. It's not pretty. It's pretty defensive. And, yeah, that's just how Boca play right now. I don't think they honestly have that good of an offense. It's also why I think Fluminense is going to have a better chance than Palmeiras because I don't know if Boca's really going to attack Fluminense that much. And I think Fluminense have a better offense, a much better offense than Palmeiras. The way I see it, I'm going Fluminense. I think their toughest task was that semifinal against Internacional. They survived it. They were able to score 4 total goals. And I think they're going to take that offense that they have and they're going to take it to Boca. I don't think they're going to kill them, but I do think Fluminense are the better side in that regard. Now, here's the thing, though. Their defense is pretty open. Internacional honestly could have won that game 5-2, bro. It really is like that. The only reason why I'm not worried for Fluminense is because I just don't really trust Boca's offense. Now, but again, you do have players like Cavani, and Valentin Barco was honestly phenomenal today. His dribble penetration was fantastic, and he's actually pretty creative. He makes pretty good decisions as far as when to pass it or when to keep dribbling. So It's not that Boca don't have as many options, just that I think Fluminense are just a little bit better offensively.
Just a better team,
They're
bro.
just
I'm not
better.
going to sugarcoat it. I think they're a better team, and you add the home factor aspect.
That's the crazy
That's
part.
tough, man.
But what's crazy, though, is that the way Fluminense played in that first half against Internacional, I saw a nervous team. I never saw Boca nervous in Palmeiras. And that's what scares me about Fluminense's chances, because for me, it's up to them. If they show up and they're like, holy shit, and they're shaking, which would be understandable, I think Boca could take advantage, man. I think Boca would be very comfortable in that type of situation. But if Fluminense come out, use that crowd, it's over. It's over.
It's really tough.
Yeah.
It's really tough. The offensive threat that Boca has, I agree, it's limited. It's limited, and so much comes down to Cavani. Does he decide to arrive on the day? His build-up play is and then ultimately his finishing can be so lackluster. But a guy like Valentin Barco cooking on the wings, finding himself on the left or the right side, doesn't matter. Finding ways to penetrate, finding ways to drill past players could create some danger. Advíncula just banging himself up that line and trying to create something offensively.
Yeah.
There are options. I do see why. I think going in, Fluminense is the favorite. Boca is going to have to achieve something really incredible here. I'm going Boca, bro. Ultimately, you're going Fluminense. This is fun. We'll check back on this to see how it pans out. But Maracanã, Copa Libertadores, man, I'm so excited to see just the atmosphere and the stage that is set for these players.